Hello traders and welcome to our market update. It's Tunapan here, founder of Master the Markets Illustrates Conference and the Traders Open Day. So here we are today on the 16th of October 2020. I mean, the year has just crazily flown past us. Just about 1.5 months before we conclude for the year. Actually, I would say about 2.5 months, really, isn't it? Now, coming into today, so as we usually do, we'll start off with a topic. Now let me just check on here. So let's start off with maybe the Fibonacci topic for today, okay? And then I'll give you all a small exercise that you all can also then go and look into. So for a Fibonacci extension tool, so what is Fibonacci? So let's first take a look at that on the topic of Fibonacci. So let's take a look at what is a Fibonacci tool. Right, a Fibonacci tool is basically, firstly, what it would do is it would take the 0 point and the 100 point. Now, what do we mean by that? The best way to explain this and how we explain on the Traders Basecamp package as well is that we see Fibonacci as a discount mechanism tool. So for example, if you had a product which started at, let's say, from price 0 and went all the way up to price £1,000. Now, 0 would be your 0% point, £1,000 would be a 100% point. Now, 50% discount of this entire move would be 50% of the difference between 1,000 and £0. So that would be £500, is it not, traders? So that would be your 50% level, as in your Fibonacci level, technically, okay? Now, what happens if I change that £0? Let's say now I changed it to £500 is the beginning point, and then I'm checking that as a new low, and the high remains the same. What is my 50% discount point? You can see from here to here, the gap has been £500, right? So still the 0% point is £500, 100% point is £1,000. So if you were to get a true 50% discount of this move, that means of this £500 move, then that would be £250, isn't it? 50% of that. So £1,000 minus 250, now that would become £750, and that would be your 50% discount level point. Okay, so that is in essence Fibonacci. Okay, right. Now, if I were to draw a Fibonacci tool over here, so let's take a look over here. So as I just mentioned, you got to take the 0 point and the 100% point. Now, of course, if you're looking to buy into a position, then of course, then we're looking at 0 being here and the 100 being there. Okay, and then you can see it nicely draws out the 50%, 38.2%, 23.6, 61.8, 78.6. Now you may ask why all those different levels, because those are the levels that has been found by Fibonacci, by the person who found this even, that these are actually numbers that happens in the universe, and there's a lot of mathematical reasons, and also the traders today, they look at those levels and they buy into it. So that's why it works to a certain extent. Okay, right. Now, so that is for what is a Fibonacci tool. Okay, so that is the point on what is a Fibonacci tool. Basically, it tells you the levels of the retracement point of price. So retracement of price, the different levels of retracement of price. Okay, that is the what is Fibonacci. Now, why is it important? Why would you want to use it? Because the thing is, traders, you see, any tool works if a large considerable amount of people are using it. And if a large considerable amount of people are using it, then those levels could work for you depending on how you use it. So why use Fibonacci? Because it can also show you where the stops are for most traders, and that's the point that you can then get in. So in essence, by knowing all of this, it just gives you better entry and exit points. Okay, better entry and exit points. So that would be two other things why you use it. And number 3, now how do you use it? So I've shown you what it is, and the levels over here. So how you can use it is usually a common point for you to look at, and most stops are usually at 38.2% level or the 50% level over here. Okay, so if I were to do this simple practice over here on a large wave like this, over here in this particular example, so if I were to cover the chart over here, I'll just show you how you can use this. So you see over here, um, this particular move never got to 38.2%, did it? Yeah. So if it did get to 38.2%, I could look at potential entry points into this particular move. But it never got to that point, okay? So perhaps in this, I wouldn't be entering into any particular position. Look into large moves, not into small moves like that. Large cyclical moves would be a better bet for you. So if I were to move that now to here, and if I were to do this, now you can see this thing just touched 38.2% level over here, okay? Right. Depending on how aggressive you want to be, I'll show you a few examples, then it will start to make sense. So over here, so let me just erase that away too. So over here, you can see that this one got to 38.2% level. I'm just taking a look at this one here, okay? Now, in this example, then you can see that before this happened, you can see that this happened and it attempted to go up, but it failed. So that means a few stops were taken out. So therefore, you can start to consider to enter into this particular move, but I would still trade with caution and use different price patterns to enter in this move. And one of the price patterns that we use is a primary. Okay. Always look for stops to be taken out. Now, how do we know if stops are being taken out? If there's been price attempt to move up. And these are all the things that we go much in detail in the Traders Basecamp package as well. Right. So this is all good, traders, on how to use it. So there are different ways to use it. Now, let's just use it into something of more recent today. Right. So maybe this one would be a good example. And then we can move to the last part. So you see over here, so if I take a look at this, so now I'm going down. So the 0 must be at the 100 must be at the top, and the 0 must be at the bottom. So I'm looking at a Fibonacci retracement here. So here, look, 38.2% level. But before that, it didn't do any attempt to go down. So I can enter this conservatively on the low of that. Now, if it did, then after I go up, then it went to 50% level. Again, I look for a primary. I look for this low to be taken out. It didn't. If you're not very familiar with the terms of primary and all that, do not worry about it. Go through it in Traders Basecamp package. And then after that, you went to the 50% level, a low for the IB -1. Then you would be probably riding this move as of now, just like in the all our LTR clients are currently riding the move as well. So these are some ways that you can use it in terms of entry, but enter it once the stops are being taken out. Now, if you do not know what's the meaning of stops and what I mean by stops being taken out, then refer to all the videos that we have in the Traders Education Center, and also refer to all the blog videos that we have done before. Okay, great. So that's to do on that, and that's how you would enter. Another way of also using Fibonacci is also using the Fibonacci extension tool. Okay, that's mainly for exits. All right, mainly for exits. You see, traders, it's not about just using the tool itself, is how you use it is what's critical for you to make your consistent profits and your consistent performance. Right, so I think that's it. So I'll leave you with that one there. So do some homework on that. Draw some Fibonacci tools, see where your 0 and 100% point is, and that will make a massive difference. And also, of course, as you have already figured by now, to make your 0 and your 100% point, you need to know where the low is and you need to know where the high is. If that's not quantified, then your Fibonacci tool cannot be reproduced consistently, and therefore your strategies won't be able to be scalable, reproducible, and sustainable. Right. Okay. So um, that with me on that particular topic. So what have we gone through so far? So Fibonacci tools. So we went through what it is. Then we went through why use them, and we also went through how to use them and apply them in the markets as well. Right, great. So now we go on to our performance for this week. Right, now before we just go on to the performance, just a quick update onto the market. So let's see where the markets are doing today. So you can see over here in terms of dollars Swiss, still in an uptrend, bit of retracement. So we're seeing a bit of move to the upside. We still believe on a probability basis. If this high is taken out, then we will see a big upward move towards the upside, or else further continuation to the downside once again. Okay, so we'll see how that performs. Now, in terms of dollar yen, you can see uptrend as well, so probably highly probably more upside as well. Turning point can happen. Cable, I would still say a lot of movement to the downside still over there. Euro dollar, still open equity left. Still a bit of move left in terms of probabilities to the downside as well. Aussie dollar, on the other hand, very efficient move over here. Strong selling over here. I will still say continue on to the downward move. Euro yen, on the other hand, over here, as you can see, that we are having a little bit more onto the down move as well. Over here with an interruption over there. Um, is there still a bit more move to the downside? Yes, I would say so. But if this high is taken out, a reversal could happen. Bitcoin, on the other hand, still uptrend, still being resilient, still more move to the upside before it probably turns. I've been looking for this low and this gap to be filled if it does turn around. Brent oil, on the other hand, you can see that it's still a downtrend over here. If it maintains its downtrend, then the first point to take out would be this 41.51 level. Uh, Gold, on the other hand, still in a downtrend, 1906, still fluctuating around that area over here. If it does take out this low once again, more move to the downside, and this low being taken out too. FTSE, on the other hand, you can see there is a strong move over here. ER is equal to 1 over there. Um, Still, do we have a bit more downside? Yes, if this low is taken out, and then I would definitely say so. But if this high is taken out, a bit more caution for the down move probably to end. The Dow still is being strong. You can see over here with this low test bar over there, still not confirming its high according to our algos. If it does, this primary does happen, and if this primary's high is taken out, I would say more move to the upside as well. Right, and then we got the S&P again doing a similar movement. So if that primary high is taken out, I would say more move to the upside. Silver, on the other side, primary at the moment is what we are seeing over here, and probably we will see a bit more upside or downside as well. If it takes out this low or if it takes out this high, then it would. And then wheat, on the other hand, still going strong. And I would say that there's still no sign of weakness as of now. Okay, traders, so that's on the market update of all the different markets and the instruments in terms of the currencies, commodities, and indexes. Now we actually move on to our performance so far for this week. So let's just take a look at this, traders, right? So what we have on the live trading room performance for this week from 12th to the 16th of October, including the Sunday from from this week, what we have is on these various systems, there's not been any trades for this week, as you can see on the liftoff, on the primary runners. We got two trades that are currently open and they are running, but they haven't closed yet, so we can't use it for this week. And these ones have been all closed out last week. The ones that we did have that were for this week going forward was actually on the CI 4.0, Cash-in 4.0 TSO primary. So this one here lets it run. So on this one over here, what we had, these two trades that closed out over there. And you can see minus 13 and 23 pips, just about 10 pips, very small pips that we won. In terms of percentage, that was about 0.32 and 0.10. That's what we had over there. That's about 0.22% is what we achieved over there. Okay, so in terms of TSL primary, that's what we got. And in terms of one day exit, you can see over here that in terms of all the trades that have been closed out for this week, that was basically about minus 0.21. Okay, minus 0.21 is what we had achieved over there. So let me just update all these figures here. And then you can see over here in terms of the pips, that's about minus 16 pips is what we got. Okay, right. So let me just quickly just double check that. In fact, coffee, yes, 11th October, we had that as well, didn't we? So I forgot to add that one there. So that's actually, we had profit of 52 pips over there. And then over here, of course, then we had 0.13% as well. Okay, so that's what we had. So just to summarize, so on the one-day exit, we had CI 4.0. One-day exit, we had 0.13% profit. And on the other one, we had 0.22% profit. So overall, we had 0.35% total performance for the LTR. Now, in terms of the pips, what we had is 10 plus 50. 2 pips is what we had, wasn't it? So 10 plus 50, that's about 62 pips is what we had in terms of that. Let me just quickly just double check that. So great. So I just double checked that. So that would be for the LTR, that would be 0.35% profit is what we are looking at. 0.22 coming from TSO primary, and one day exit 0.13%. So overall, we had 62 pips on the LTR and 0.35% profit if you're doing percentage risk management. So at £10 a pip, that's just about £620, okay, or points, whatever that is, because we're using other instruments as well. Now on the elite room, on the other hand, so there's sort of two rooms that we run. So on the primary run elite, so we had trades that were closing out for this week. So this one here, 14 October, is the only trade that closed out. That was 1.03% or 73 pips that we got from that one. And then the compound patterns system strategy that we also do on the elite room. You can see over here that cable closed on the 13th of October, 1.02% is what we have, and 89 pips of profit is what we had achieved on that particular trade. Now, if you were to add all of that up together, so that would be 1.03 plus the 1.02, so that is 2.05% on the elite room. And in terms of pips, that's about 162 pips in total. So if we were to add up the entire LTR plus the elite room, that comes to, in terms of percentage, it comes to 2.4%, right, which is 2.05 plus 0.35. And in terms of pips, 162 plus 62, that's about 224 pips. Now that at £10 a pip or slash points, that would be £2,240 is what we are looking at, traders. Okay, great. So that's what I will leave you with in terms of this week's performance. That's been great. So 2.4% and 2,240 pounds. So do reflect on all the information that we have given you and use that towards your own trading. And we look forward to seeing you in one of our events, in our Traders Basecamp package events as well. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master.